decision process like to delve into the world of the quest again? I mean, why was now the right time?
We wanted to do something bold and push the format even further. And that was really what motivated us to want to do this show. That was really the fundamental motivation. And it just was wonderful timing because, you know, the folks at Disney Plus and Disney Branded Television who were aware of the franchise said, you know, we'd love to see a really bold version of this. And what would you do if you could do it again?
Yeah, they were wonderful partners. They see this as a really important part of their mandate to push reality storytelling, you know, in a new, fresh Disney way. So we were excited to be part of it.
Yeah.
From an IP standpoint, I know you both have history in Middle Earth, which you mentioned New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers parent company. New properties are happening under Amazon right now. How careful did you have to be with the development of the fantasy world here to make it not too much like that, since it's not on HBO Max or Amazon Prime?
Because it's of our own creation, we were totally free, which was actually very liberating.
Yeah, it's fun to not have the constraints of expectation from fans and authors and IP holders. You know, and one of the things you'll notice is, you know, we really tried to push inclusion in all ways, because we made up the world. We can make it look any way we want, and I feel like that's sort of the most exciting, sort of untapped part of Everrealm that we think we can push, you know, as we go further in lots of other ways as well. Yeah, it's really exciting.
So the series is like a hybrid of both scripted and unscripted.
Yes.
You know, you haven't really talked much about the narrative, but you did name check Tavora. Tavora. Can you talk a little about
Sure. The sorceress Tavora, when we're at this part of the story, and you'll see her in the first scene, she is hell-bent on taking over Everrealm, and she's doing pretty well at it. We're in sort of dark days when our paladins are beckoned to Everrealm. They're sort of a last hope. And they're part of a prophecy, an ancient prophecy that most people don't believe in anymore. But King Magnus does, and he finds the artifact and calls for the heroes. That's right in the first few minutes.
Right.
But Tavora, she's mad, and you'll find out why she's mad. And she's totally justified in being angry. And she is sort of fueled by the nefarious ferals. And the ferals are sort of the anti-fates. The fates are well, I don't know, depends. You could be on Team Feral. But, you know, are sort of light and dark. And they coexist, and this is sort of a thing in Everrealm that we'll see when we're in our 10th episode, the 10th season, is that good and evil, I mean, good and bad are sort of, they go back and forth.
Yeah, one of the things that's great about Tavora, which you'll discover, is like all great villains or antagonists, she has reasons that she feels are incredibly reasonable, and when she relates them, you sort of go like, oh, well, you know, like, I guess I could see how you came to that conclusion, you know, so it's better that way, it's more interesting that way.
Yeah, our good guys aren't entirely good, and our bad guys aren't entirely bad. I mean, for a family show.
With the immersive nature of Everrealm and being at a company like Disney that makes themed immersive environments, did you do any partnership or consulting with?
We didn't, but we would really love to. We were oddly on a fast track, even though it took a minute to make the show. So we couldn't get the Imagineers. You know, as you imagine, they're doing some pretty big things. But yeah, we look forward to the day where we like recruit in. So let's make this a huge global success, and then we'll have our quest world over across the street. But it'd be great to have them even part of the show, because they are the best in the business.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the cast, the scripted characters?
Sure.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot of faces on there. If you want to talk a little bit more about them.
Sure. No, absolutely. It is in the press notes too, so like you guys can check it out. But there's, we come into our story in the kingdom of Aura. The last one was in Sanctum. this is Aura. There's a king, King Silas, and he is taking care of 3 siblings who are the heirs to King Magnus of Sanctum. And they're refugees. They've left Sanctum because Sanctum's under siege, and we learn that very quickly that Sanctum is fallen, and Sanctum is the center of power within everyone. So things are not going well. And a young foot soldier named Mila, who is the girl with the long red hair, comes with a message from King Magnus that the heroes are coming. And lo and behold, the door knocks, and the heroes have arrived.
Right.
And the heroes are our contestants. And so it's this interplay of can our teen contestants fulfill the prophecy before Tavora is on their doorstep? Right? Is that pretty fair?
That's fair.
Yeah.
How big was the pool of applicants to become a contestant, and how did you guys narrow down to this team that you created with Paladin?
Gratefully, we had an amazing casting team who went all over the country and went from the thousands of people to hundreds. Like we got the smaller section, and they're all amazing kids. And we've talked about it. The first sort of deep love of the genre and love of fantasy, and that would be probably the first step in, and then it was getting to know them and sort of seeing whether or not we felt that they brought certain attributes of the one true hero to the table, and we've had a great group who, all of them were like, for teenagers, incredibly sort of centered. They made us look like immature sometimes.
Do we get to know much about their backstories and where they come from, all that during
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. The idea was let's drop them in as human beings and not worry about home.
Okay.
Let's be in Everrealm. Let's see these young people sort of participate in it. Sort of, we talk about this a lot. It's like if you hop on a plane and you go to Tokyo, and you've never been to Tokyo, and you don't know the rules of Tokyo, you don't really know how to speak the language, and somebody like you're going, let's say, to stay with a family, and you've got to find out all the customs and the foods. It's a lot like that, and we made it sort of an Everrealm immersion experience rather than learning much about where they come from. They're definitely talk about, but it wasn't a focus.
The backstory behind this is so interesting. Are you guys looking to do like a making of Hawkeye kind of documentary that'll accompany this on Disney Plus?
They did. They had an APK crew. I don't know what the plans are. We're gonna be finding that out sort of alongside you guys soon, because we're releasing on May 11th, so we're starting all of that planning. But I don't know. We're happy to do it, of course. And we have all of the drawings and all of the incredible stuff. And certain people, like Spectral Motion, has a lot of their building of the creatures. Our production designer has all of his stuff. So we could definitely put something together.
And is this going to be all episodes released at once on May 11th?
Yes.
Weekly?
Yes. So it'll be a binger. You just tear through it. It's fun. It's good fun entertainment. It really is.
I know it's non-elimination, but is there one winner in the end, or is this like teamwork makes the dream work and we all win?
I'm going to let you watch and see, because we were talking to a different table about this. It's that idea ended up being a big dialogue for them, for the scripted characters. That was sort of one of the surprises of how they responded, just personally to it. So you got to keep it some mystery.
I know that this is based on being you have like half reality show, half scripted. Do you feel like maybe the end result came out more like a video game, that you're more like you can see it through their eyes, they're a playable character, and there is a story alongside of it? Do you think it mainly went towards something like that more than it is reality TV show?
I think it's reality. It depends on how you define it, but it is. They aren't playing NPC, like they aren't playing versions of themselves. They're very much kids, like who have been put in this extraordinary world and are trying to rise to the occasion, and they have all of the same pitfalls and frustrations that any kid would have in any kind of challenge like that, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it still is a reality experience.
Okay.
It might not be a reality show,
Okay.
right? So I
Yeah.
think it's a reality experience more than, we really tried, and this was all of us, to stay away from the traditional tropes. There's still, you'll see a few things where you're like, oh, but we tried to stay away from it as much as we could. We included the bare minimum just so people felt moored and anchored to something that was familiar. Otherwise, I think it's a really different type of storytelling that hasn't been done yet. So,
If you did another season, would you go back to teens, or would you like to incorporate parents with teens or something different?
I don't know if I would want parents with teens. I think that you'd want to pick. I think you'd want to pick one or the other. I think together they might cancel each other out somehow. I don't know if that, because you're asking people to be heroes. So I don't know. I think that dynamic, psychologically, I'm not sure it would work. But we're open to anything. We really want to get in there again. We have some really fun ideas.
Yeah.
And the idea is just to keep pushing the format further along. So we have some really fun ideas that actually are sort of on the reality side that would really drive the integration more. So.
Any talk yet, or do we have to wait until it drops about the next season?
Oh gosh.
Well, we can't curse anything. We gotta hope that it's a huge global success, and they can do their bean counting and call us in the fall and say yay.
Look at the data.
So we're gonna wait and see. Because who knows? There's a lot of different ways to play in this type of storytelling. So maybe we'll, if we're not lucky enough to get a second season, we'll put it in something else.
Yeah. I think we're all rooting for you, right?
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much.